Either method is perfectly fine as long as they're supported by strong controls. Across the state, we have seen instances of not only potential fraud schemes developed through EFT frameworks, but also rampant phishing scams that have plagued the market. During our audit period, the district was almost subject to one of these phishing schemes. Luckily, Bonita did exactly what we'd hoped to see by verifying the change to vendor payment information independently and externally. This allowed the district to recover their funds before they were credited to the criminals' accounts. We want to recommend that as the district continues to pursue further use of EFT transactions, that it develop a policy to support and document this process. We've had great conversations with Benita and Jason throughout the audit, and we've provided several resources to help the district with this development. Benita, while also a great resource, does deserve a retirement, and as the district looks to support a potential successor in the future, we want to ensure that any new processes that are developed and those processes already in place in the district are well documented and approved by the commission so that the district can continue to best safeguard public resources while operating efficiently. I'll kind of pause here for any questions or concerns about what I just went through or the accountability audit as a whole.
The electronic fund transfer is something that we thought was going to make things better. And then I think, did I speak to you on the phone? Who did the initial interviews? Was that?
It was probably me.
And I mentioned that we were moving towards that, and then you said, well, yeah. There's issues with that too. So, you know, in a perfect world, it would be nice to be able to send people the money we owe them and they would get it. We have had multiple incidences since I've been here of checks getting lost in the mail or whatever happens to them, but I don't know. And had to either cancel warrants or reissue them. And so, you know, in my own banking experience, I go to my computer and I push send and the money goes where it goes and nobody bothers me, but I understand that there's people out there that try to make that not happen. So I guess in your opinion, is one actually better than the other? Or, I mean, I know there's a lot of time and effort in printing checks and signing checks. I had to sign them for a period of time before Chief Ward got on the signature thing. And I mean, that's time consuming. So do you, I mean, knowing what you know, is there a better way?
I think it's kind of a balance between the two, finding what makes the most sense in the moment. Kind of having those strong procedures and controls in place can really make either method work. The EFT's transactions can be a lot of work up front in setting up all of those systems, getting those processes for changing vendor payment information in place and really aligning all of the goals rather than something that's been really traditional and people have known how to do for a really long time. So there's value in both ways, and it's just on kind of picking that strong direction and moving forward with it however you want to.
I know that the chief is very careful about really large checks when we buy apparatus that we hand it directly to the vendor rather than, you know, nobody wants to put $1 million check in the mail and hope it gets to the right place. Right. So.
Yes. I was just going to ask: do you see a balance in a lot of departments and a lot of agencies where there's a few, you know, an equal balance or a lopsided balance, whatever, but there is some that do automatic funds transfer, and then some that Benita's finding out prefer
that don't want
a check.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a specific trend that I'm seeing, especially in our area, other than definitely an increase in conversation about them. I think a lot of districts are in the same place that you are, of asking about it and trying to pursue, either because of lost checks or the time it takes sometimes to get it back from the county. The risks of having your own bank account and processing your own checks, you know, things like that every district is trying to figure out what works best for them. We have no problem with EFT checks. We're not saying back away from it. I think we're just saying make sure that you have the controls in place to verify it, because unfortunately there are people out there that are tracking when you have big procurement or tracking when you're going to buy an engine or something, and that's when they're going to target. And the methods in which they're doing that are various and are intense. Whether it's duplicating a commissioner's email while they know you're on a plane, and so you're not otherwise you don't know that it's not them, or changing it. We've seen hacking into systems and actually changing some of the payroll information. And so that's always a risk, even if you use the county. But there's a wave of the future, right? Like it's coming, and in some cases it makes more sense. And so we are not deterring anybody. I think just saying we have different guides. I think that we passed on to Benita different considerations as an office that we're trying to share, just to have that policy, have those controls in place. Anytime you rely too much on a system is when you get too comfortable with it, right? And then there could be holes. So just making sure that you're still looking at that somebody's looking at what is the actual account that it's going to. And especially if anybody ever asks you to change the account, that should always come with scrutiny, right? Which is exactly what you guys did. So I don't know if that helps. It's not a straight answer, but it's at least everybody else is having the conversation as well. Yeah.
Matt, sorry, go ahead. Okay.
Just what I, excuse me, what I was able to find is two things. One was interesting, reached out to our attorney who represents a number of ports, and they had no policies like preloaded for EFTs at all. So that kind of set my spidey sense off. And when I did find them, what they are, it's government to government transfers only. So it's like city to DRS, city to ESD, city to other Washington state government entities is what I found. I didn't find any
policy, or is what their EFT?
Their policy was that EFTs would only take place between the local municipality and state government. That there would be no vendors, nothing like that. And I assume there's a security reason behind that. It didn't explain why, but
I'm not. I will say that we have what we call required risk to assess, which means it's a conversation in every audit that we do. Sometimes those are very specific, let's say by entity type. For the last 4 years, EFT has been a required risk for every entity that we do in Washington state, so that everyone is consistently hearing this message and encouraged to have a policy. So being that I work with a lot of ports, I'm a little worried about that one. I would check it. But we are making that recommendation to everyone that we talk to, whether it's part of an audit or just a verbal conversation, because people are moving that way and we ask a policy. I know everybody has different feelings towards policies and what they write down, what they formalize. What we're looking at is just a control process, and policies are typically the expectations from the board, right? And then or procedures, something that outlines so that, again, if you do have turnover or somebody's out and somebody's stepping in, you're all following the same process. That's so official or unofficial, that would be our suggestion.
Thank you.
It's a good, thorough discussion. Thank you.
Excellent. We're going to move on to the financial statements.
Sure.
Perfect. So starting at around, let's see where it actually comes in. Probably about page 15 or so is where our results start. We conduct our financial statement audits with like government auditing standards and in accordance with the BAR's manual. As expected, since the district reports on a cash basis, we do issue an adverse opinion on U.S. GAAP. As you can see, let's see here. And on the page 15, there was no deficiencies in internal controls that we identified to be material weaknesses, and no instances of non-compliance that we'd have to disclose, aside from those reported in the management letter that we'll discuss here just in a bit. The overall opinion that we're issuing is on, I believe, page 17. It's unmodified, which is, again, the best opinion possible for the district. So congratulations there. Let's see here. One of the more common risks, kind of we were talking about the required risks to assess at every entity, is the management override of controls. As we've kind of noted here in this report, we didn't have any concerns with that. So let's move on to the management letter. I believe it starts on page 24. So this was something that we discussed at great lengths with Jason and Benita during the audit. The primary consideration is the district is a participant in the LEF1 plan. So under the benefits of that plan with the retirees, the district has obligations for the retirees' lifetime medical expenses. And the BAR's requirement is just to get those potential obligations onto the district's books, so onto the schedule of liabilities. We've worked really closely together to kind of hopefully get that going through the next forward year. The Office of the Washington State Actuary offers a free tool for the district to gain an actuarial evaluation of what those potential obligations might be. So it's super easy to pull those through year over year. And hopefully we're primed for next year to go
Sorry,
through
that was my fault.
totally okay.
Accept responsibility.
Our office also offers really great trainings on both pensions and OPEB liabilities on our website. If any members of the board would like to get some more information or get more involved in this really pretty complex reporting process. So with all of that, I'd like to congratulate the district again on getting the best opinion in all areas. The district has really put in a lot of hard work towards improvement, and that's really well reflected by how smoothly the audit went. As an agency, we're just really glad to have such a close role in supporting all of the ways that the district serves its community. So thank you all for all that you do. I'll now turn the floor to Suzanne to talk more about our lingering administrative items.
Perfect. If I could bring your attention back to this first page, our agenda, and you turn to page 2, it starts with the status of prior management letter items. There were 2 prior management letters in the 2019 audit. The district asserts that those have been resolved, and we agree, so that will be included in our documentation. For the financial statements, as Sasha was mentioning, we did not identify any material misstatements. There were no uncorrected misstatements aside from those communicated in the management letter. And the audit did address the possibility of management override, which we didn't have any concerns there. Those are some required communications. Next steps for this audit, we will be releasing the report for publication, so that will appear on our website probably in the next week or so.
A couple days. Probably.
Yeah, pretty shortly. Benita, as our main contact, you'll receive that email just notifying you that it's been published. Along with that, we've included some information in the packet here about our subscription services. So that is how you receive those notifications. But anyone else who's interested in signing up for those notification services, it's a great tool. You get a lot of updates, very timely updates when new resources are published, and anything pertaining to the district. Along with that, Benita, you'll get the survey just as in prior years.
Yes.
Just want to thank the district in advance for any feedback that you have for us. We are always looking for ways to improve, so we would like to know what went well and anything that we can do to improve, and encourage you to share that with anyone else who participated in the audit process. The last piece is with our tracker tool. I don't know if we spoke about that at the beginning of the audit, but our office has a new communication tool sort of aligned with that goal of transparency. Tracker will pull in any higher level recommendations. So if there had been a finding or a management letter, it pulls that information. It's more like a library to hold all the details about those prior recommendations. So next steps with that would be to log in and add details about the prior 2 management letters, just that
Okay.
those have been resolved, and then any details about the current
Okay.
management letter. It's especially beneficial for districts if there is turnover. It's just a nice one place to track prior recommendations and those details and what the district's done to address those.
If I could add really quickly, management letters are viewable internally, so it would just be internal tracking to anybody else who would be logging in. Findings, if you used to have one, would be externally facing, just like our reports. So if you had a finding and wanted to show your citizens that you'd already resolved it, that's why those are public facing, but the management letters
Okay.
that we're talking about are just internal for staff.
Thank you.
So good clarification. Common question.
Yeah, thanks. And if you have any questions about that too, just give us a call and I
Okay.
can walk you through that process.
Yes.
We have included a copy of the management representation letter at the back of your packet. In terms of audit costs, we are pleased to say that our estimated costs are in alignment with our original quote, so no surprises there. In terms of the next scheduled audit, We've spoken about moving the district to a one-year financial statement audit. So the next audit would be conducted about this time, December-ish, of 2023 and cover fiscal year 2022.
Yeah.
So just that one-year financial audit, and we've included a quote for that here. And then the next cycle would be the 2-year accountability and 1-year financial. So in 2024, those two pieces. Again, this is at the request of the district. So at that point, if you were to determine that you wanted to go back to a 2-year cycle, we can have those conversations then and move the district back to that. So up to you. Any questions there?
Just so the board knows, that was done at Benita's recommendation based on that there's gonna be some turnover in her position. So it would give, instead of going full boat on that person's first audit, that it would give them a break-in period, do the financial audit 1 year, so they'd be at least familiar with half of what we're doing when we go to the every other year big audit.
Okay. Because I know it's time consuming for our staff to do this, and I was just curious why we wanted to do more.
But there's so much to learn. And if you make a mistake the first year, it carries on to the next year.
Sure, no, I get it.
And the person who takes my place when that happens is probably not going to be very happy with me, but I think they'll be thankful.
And I would say the requests and the time associated with just a financial audit are much reduced compared to a lot of the records that you provide are really within the scope of accountability. So it wouldn't be as much time, twice as often, right?
Right.
It's just that one. So I can definitely see those. Correct any items that they're unfamiliar with the filing before it
I'd
goes.
rather do it that way.
Okay.
At least for the foreseeable future.
Yeah,
Sure.
just
We're up and running at full speed.
So,
Yeah.
It is a good way to catch when there are accounting changes or changes in reporting, you catch it right away. Yeah.
Sure.
Just to mention, if the district were to obtain more than $750,000 in federal grant money and expend it in any current year, that would trigger a federal audit.
That would be Kimberly.
So if you anticipate that you'll be receiving a large grant, it'd be great. Just give us a phone call and we can coordinate that piece of it.
I was just going to say.
Sometimes one grant can send you over. Sometimes it's a couple, especially if you're replacing equipment, right?
Yeah, we will be applying for a fairly large one next year. So
We're here to help however we can.
Sure. Just turning to page 3. Before we close, we wanted to mention a couple of other teams that are working year-round to support fire districts and other local governments. Our local government support team provides technical assistance, a lot of help with annual reporting for the financial statements, if that's an area. Or I don't know if you have contacted them before, but they have some great trainings. Those are coming up in this coming month. So if you're interested in any of that, we can forward some information.
Yes, please. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is all free services.
Thank you.
we like free.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
We do.
Free is good.
Yeah.
One of our other teams, the Center for Government Innovation, they're really looking at that big picture, what's happening around the state. They're monitoring areas where districts may be, I don't know, struggling with a new standard or some reporting requirement, and looking for ways to support and provide additional training. They also have subject matter experts. So we have somebody that works with our central team that just specializes in fire districts and is monitoring changes in state law or compliance requirements, common issues that impact fire districts, and reporting that out to us so that we can support you as well when we come on site to audit. That wraps up all of the topics that we wanted to make sure that we covered, but I just like to open it up to all of you to see if you have any other questions we can answer or provide more detail.
Like that.
So the current management letter that was issued, can you explain that a little more? Did that have to do with the left one liability
Yep.
issue?
Yeah.
So that's really just, it's related to the financial statement report, specifically the schedule of long-term liabilities where the district reports its long-term liabilities. The benefits provided to retirees who are part of that plan, the new accounting standards require that the district determine the present value of that long-term liability and report that on the statement. And the district did do research on this. It just came to the wrong conclusion about whether it was, and it's, you're not the only one. Other people have done the same thing. So
Well, it wasn't on Schedule 9 either, the liability. So, I mean, that was a little bit confusing to me as well, but
oh,
I get
it didn't come up as an
no,
option.
it's not a liability on Schedule 9.
Right.
Like the coding.
Yes.
I think it has to be manually added because not every district would have that liability.
But it's not listed on Schedule 9, left one. It's only on the narrative, on the notes to the financial, right?
It should be in the.
Is it?
Yeah, it should be on the Schedule 9.
Okay,
That's the
see,
problem.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it has to be added to the
Okay.
Schedule 9. And there is a great training available in the trainings.
Taking that training
If you
too.
want, we could meet later this week if you want, and I can show you how
Yeah.
to access that.
Yeah, I would like that. Thank you.
So, I understand left 1 and 2. I'm a left 2 member, so I know a lot of retired left 1 members. Do we just have one?
Yeah.
One.
Okay. So in this reporting, we're sort of required to predict what our future liability is, or
No.
how does this-
Luckily, the Washington State Actuary's Office creates an online tool that's really easily downloaded. All you do is you put in how many retirees you have, and then it gives you different age brackets. And that tool will automatically calculate what that liability should be, direct for reporting on the district statements.
Okay, and then are we to have a separate line item in the budget for that, or we're just supposed to say we need to make sure we have enough money to cover this in the future? How does I'm trying to figure out how this works.
It's not a liability for us, is it?
So financial.
Well,
It's kind of like the pensions. You know, the pensions are it's a change in reporting. So the district would continue, it wouldn't change how the district pays out. It's just making it clear and transparent in the financial statements, specifically that schedule of long-term liabilities, what the projected long-term liability, the value of that. Does that make sense?
So from our perspective, we're just looking for it on the financials. If you were to consider the other impact, if you wanted to budget or look at, do you have that money set aside or would you project it to, you could do that. From our perspective, we don't audit that far. We're just looking at the financial statements. And so many districts, many governments of all kinds like yours are implementing this and having to look at what they could possibly have to pay out for all of the pensions or the other like OPEB liabilities that they have. I have not, to be honest, from our side, we have not personally heard what people do after they report it. I think a lot have considered if they're fully funded or not. So that would be something, but not something that we're requesting put on your budget or an account set aside or anything. Although, you guys may figure out what that trickle down of reporting it means.
In reviewing the last couple of years of the district statements, there haven't been any left one claims made by that retired member. However, if there were medical expenses arisen, that would be the responsibility of the district, then that would be the actual liability to budget for, rather than assuming that these claims are all going to come in at once, or the district is going to have all of these liabilities to tie back to. It's just kind of an estimate of what the district could possibly have to pay over the lifetime of this retired member.
That's a great way to explain it.
Yeah, that's good explanation.
Which means what you're reporting is not necessarily what you may need to pay out.
Right.
But the standard request that you put the possible amount on there as determined by the actuary. Do you remember what it ended
That
up
makes
being?
sense.
It was
I
just
wanna do the
over,
training.
It's a
Right
20-minute
before I-
video. It's a
yeah,
very
before
Yeah,
I say
no.
it.
So we're gonna have to
in
do
fact,
that.
We only have one member and,
using the 2022 tool, which is all we were able to have available to us during this audit. The office doesn't retain historical schedules, just it changes in actuarial information. The estimated liability, I think, was around 650,000. So somewhere just right in there will probably be likely for the 2022 reporting year.
and that's for the life of that member.
Correct. Yep. And that's based on the actuarial assumptions built into that.
Right,
That tool.
no, yeah, I
Yeah.
understand that, so. But how do we, fund those liabilities?
I think you would fund the payments as they came through.
That's how,
Right, but I mean,
For-
is it,
for
what,
Jubert,
what fund is it coming out of? i.e., we have a left one member that gets put into long-term care.
bars number?
No, I'm just saying, what, is it coming out of our medical fund? Is it
Yeah.
coming out of our?
Healthcare,
It would come out of medical healthcare,
healthcare.
which is,
But we,
like you said, is budgeted for what we're going to pay that following year, so.
for our
We're
active,
opening-
for most of our active members, we're not really thinking about our retired left one member.
You just opened a can of worms.
And we haven't, and we haven't
That
had
was good. I
any,
won't sleep for the rest
We're
of the
very
year. until I
transparent.
get-
Yeah. I mean, they're good conversations. They're hard
it is,
conversations.
and we haven't had any
Yeah.
payments that
But
we've
it's a
had to
good-
pay.
it's a
Well,
good
it-
piece.
The only reason why it makes sense to me is because it happened in Bellevue. I worked in Bellevue, and I was a union negotiator at the time that the city decided to fully fund their left one liability to the tune of millions of dollars, so that they could give us a pay raise. But different story. So yes, I am familiar with the left one liability. So. Now you are. All right. Matt, did you have any comments or questions for us? Good. I'd just like to take the heat off of you. Good. I'm glad that you could make it. Does anyone else have any? I'm usually the one that asks all the stupid questions.
No, you ask great questions.
I think the last piece is our contact information is in the packet. I think just as a physical reminder that we're very open and available if there are questions, if there's something we can revisit, or even past the audit over the next year, or more, as you're training a new person or a question comes up on something that you're looking to change policy-wise, we look for those opportunities to be available and help out. So please feel free to reach out to any
Thank you.
of us.
Appreciate that.
But I just want to say thank you to the
Yes.
audit
Yes.
team.
Yes.
Sasha's who I had the most interaction with, and thank you for making scheduling quick and working around my weird schedule, and I appreciate your professionalism, and thank you for teaching me along the way. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, this one was a lot better from the perspective of there wasn't the COVID issues that we dealt with last time, which tended to drag that one on forever, and getting documents passed and meetings and all that was very cumbersome. So this just
I'm learning.
seemed like we were in the express lanes this year.
Yeah.
So glad to hear that.
But, anyway, yeah, and before we close, I think we, Matt, myself, and Kimberly need to thank all of our administrative staff for the time and effort, especially Benita, who I know gets the big piles of stuff to do, but everyone in that office shares the workload, and they do it without complaining, at least to me. So.
We don't complain very much, do
And,
we?
and I don't think it would have gone that smooth without their efforts. They truly are professionals and want to make sure things are done right, and it comes out in this report very clearly that that's what they try to do. So thank you to everyone, staff.
Well, and Jenny for records retention as well, and putting things where we can find them.
Yeah, she's part of that. So, anyway, all right, anyone else? All right, if there's nothing else, I'll move to adjourn the meeting. Thank you. All in favor? Thank you, Matt. It's unanimous. All right, meeting's adjourned.